They have been freezing, and this is inhumane.
No one is safe at sub-zero weather living in the street.
I've seen about 6 people down here pass away.
So, that time being out there in the cold can get dangerous.
You still be freezing. This concrete gets so cold it cracks.
It's more jail mentality in those shelters. You got people that rob you a lot more.
People fall on hard times, you know what I mean? Last night I slept in Madison Square Garden in the Penn Station. They didn't kick us out last night because it was cold, but it's rough out here.
Welcome, Homeless Life Stories.
New York, 2026. Above ground is the magnificent white snow of Manhattan, but beneath these steaming sewer grates lies a brutal war for survival. When the Code Blue order is issued, a shocking truth is revealed. The wealthiest city in the world has officially run out of room for the poor. Look at Elias, a jazz artist who once performed on Broadway. Now his home is a moldy crawl space next to a heat pipe. Here, hot steam is the only lifeline keeping him from freezing to death, but it is also a monster that can burn him at any moment if he falls asleep. In the heart of New York's underworld, finding a place to sleep is no longer a matter of money, but a suffocating game of hide and seek with the police and death. Welcome back to Homeless Life Stories. If you believe that no one deserved to be left in the cold darkness, please press subscribe to join us in warming the lives of people like Elias. Do not leave, because right now, we will see the high price of life beneath Manhattan, where warmth itself has become a luxury. Part 1. When white snow becomes a killer. In February 2026, Manhattan above is a desert of blinding white snow, heartbreakingly beautiful, but carrying the breath of the Grim Reaper. When the temperature touches -15 degrees Celsius, the ground is no longer a place for humans. Tattered tents on the sidewalks are buried under thick ice, forcing thousands of homeless individuals to perform a reverse migration into dark catacombs. The paradox of the Code Blue order. In theory, when Code Blue is activated, the New York Police Department, NYPD, is obligated to take everyone to a shelter. However, the reality on the ground is a painful slap to the face of compassion. With the wave of migrants and the housing crisis reaching its peak, shelters have been over capacity for months. The result? Elias and those in similar circumstances are pushed into a roofless gray zone. If they stay above ground, they will certainly die of hypothermia. If they go down into the subway tunnels, they become criminals guilty of trespassing and face non-stop police sweep. The gateway to life underground. Elias leads me deep into Canal Street station, slipping through iron fences to reach ghost tunnels, where only those with nothing left to lose dare to set foot. Here, warmth does not come from a heater, but from New York's signature rusted steam pipes. You have to learn to sleep standing up, or leaning against the heat pipe, Elias whispers, his hand stroking an old saxophone. Never lie flat on the concrete floor. The cold of the earth will drain your life faster than any disease. This is a strange ecosystem of shadows. While those above ground talk about future technologies, down here, Elias struggles every minute to keep his breath from freezing. The sound of his horn occasionally rings out between the rhythms of passing trains, a lonely but resilient sound, as if wanting to remind this busy city that beneath their feet, human beings are still trying not to be forgotten.
At nighttime, even with the blankets and stuff like that down here, they still be freezing. This concrete gets so cold it cracks. Since I've been out here for about 7 years, I've seen about 6 people down here pass away.
Part 2. Ruthless warmth and the cry in the darkness. Underground in New York right now, warmth is a luxury item that carries a cruel price. Elias leads me close to a steam pipe that is hissing rhythmically. He reaches out a hand covered in dry, scorched burn scars. This steam saves my life every night, but it is also ready to corrode my flesh if I happen to fall asleep and touch it. That is the torture of survival. You must stay awake to live, but your body begs for sleep to forget the hunger. Amidst the space reeking of mold and the screeching of metal, Elias takes out a tattered Bible, turning to a page marked by a cigarette butt. He reads softly, his voice trembling like the wind blowing through a door crack. I looked on my right hand and beheld, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul. That verse echoes against the cold stone walls of the tunnel, sounding as painful as his own reality. In the center of prosperity, Elias feels like an invisible man. The chase under the flashlight. The silence of the night is suddenly torn apart by flashing flashlights and the thud of boots on concrete. The NYPD patrol is conducting a cleanup operation of the station under the Code Blue order. A painful paradox unfolds. The police drive the homeless out of the subway tunnels to force them into shelters, but when Elias drags his swollen feet to the shelter door, the only answer he receives is a shake of the head. No more room. Pushed out of the tunnel, rejected by the aid station, Elias stands amidst the white snow of Manhattan, trembling in a torn coat. He is not afraid of the police. He is not afraid of being fined. What he fears most is the silence of his fellow man. In the warm subway cars that just glided past, passengers were absorbed in their phone screens. Not a single person looked up to see a jazz artist dying beneath their feet. There are nights, Elias says through tears, I blow my horn not for people to give me money, but to remind myself, Elias, you are still breathing. You are not a ghost. His tears freeze on his gaunt cheeks before they can even fall. In New York, 2026, compassion seems to be frozen under a thick layer of snow, leaving people like Elias alone in the battle to snatch every bit of hot breath from rusted pipes.
People fall on hard times, you know what I mean? Last night I slept in Madison Square Garden in the Penn Station. You know, they didn't kick us out last night because it was cold, but it's rough out here.
Part 3. When the right to shelter exists only on paper. Why does New York, the only city in the United States with a legal mandate to provide a bed for every homeless person, leave Elias huddling next to a heat pipe? The answer lies in a systemic collapse, a perfect storm sweeping away the final hopes of the poorest class. 1. The dual crisis, housing and migrants. In 2026, New York faces pressure unprecedented in its history. The combination of a new wave of immigrants and a 40% spike in rent over just 2 years has caused the shelter system to explode. With the city budget facing a deficit of billions of dollars, emergency relief centers have become overcrowded fortresses. Elias was not abandoned due to a lack of laws. He was abandoned because laws cannot create walls and beds out of thin air. 2. The disappearance of artistic souls. Elias's story is a symbol of the ruthless gentrification of Manhattan. The jazz clubs in Harlem, where Elias spent his youth contributing his talent, have been transformed into luxury apartments or high-end fashion boutiques. When cultural spaces are erased, freelance artists like him lose their livelihood. Without insurance, without a pension, and without a safety net, Elias became a victim of a city that worships profit while forgetting the people who created its soul. 3. The underground cost trap. Many ask, why don't they leave? The truth is, leaving New York also requires money. Elias is trapped in a deadly loop. He needs an address to receive benefits, but he needs benefits to have an address. Living in the subway tunnels is not free. He pays with his health, with burns, and with his personal safety. In New York, 2026, poverty has been intentionally invisibilized. Society wants to push Elias underground to keep the surface of Manhattan glamorous for tourists. 4. The paralysis of compassion. the deepest root cause is familiarity with pain. When every station has an Elias, residents begin to view it as an inevitable part of the urban landscape. This indifference is the coldest wall of all, colder than the snow outside, preventing real solutions from being implemented. Elias's horn lies there, silent as a witness to the collapse of the New York dream. When a system only cares about growth figures and forgets the human heartbeat, dark tunnels will forever be the living rooms of fallen artists. Part 4. Reclaiming Warmth. When technology serves humanity. Facing the breakdown of traditional shelters, New York in 2026 is forced to change its strategy. No longer focusing on meaningless chases, the city is starting to apply more flexible solutions to ensure that no one, including Elias, has to die silently in the darkness. 1. Heating cars, mobile rooms. Instead of letting empty subway cars run through the night, a new initiative has been deployed: specialized heating cars. These cars do not stop at stations to pick up passengers, but move continuously through the tunnel's heating system, maintaining a stable temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. This is where Elias can lie down without fear of being awakened by police or the biting cold. It is not just a place to sleep, it is a mobile survival fortress. 2. AI eyes and thermal sensors. In the deep ghost tunnels where Elias hides, it is difficult for the human eye to find him. But in 2026, outreach teams have been equipped with AI-integrated thermal imaging devices. The moment a body temperature signal drops to an alarming level, the system immediately locates and notifies the nearest medical team. This technology has helped save hundreds of people from acute hypothermia in the deepest alcoves of Manhattan. 3. The Safe Havens Model. Instead of massive, suffocating shelters, New York is shifting towards safe havens, small, family-scale residential centers converted from abandoned stations or hotel basements. Here, administrative barriers are removed. Elias can bring his saxophone, have a private locker, and most importantly, receive psychological support to reconnect with society. 4. Emergency housing vouchers and corporate cooperation. Under public pressure, large real estate corporations in New York have begun opening vacant commercial areas to serve as temporary shelters during Code Blue nights. Short-term housing vouchers are issued directly through relief apps, allowing people with good backgrounds like Elias the chance to shower and sleep in an actual bed. Elias looks at the new electronic relief card he was just given, his hands trembling with emotion. "They are starting to see us," he whispers. The solution is not just a roof, but the feeling of having one's right to exist recognized. When technology is no longer used for surveillance, but for warmth, that is when New York begins to find its soul again. Conclusion: the Symphony of Compassion. On the final night of the Code Blue alert, the snow begins to stop falling atop the skyscrapers of Manhattan. Underground, Elias packs his silver aluminum blanket and carefully places his saxophone in its case. He walks up the stairs of Canal Street station, taking a deep breath of the freezing but fresh morning air. Compassion sometimes does not come from macro policies or massive budget figures. It comes from a hot cup of coffee that a stranger placed next to Elias's horn case last night, accompanied by a note that simply read, "Thank you for the music. It warmed my heart." In a New York run by speed and displacement, Elias reminds us of a simple truth in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. "Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me." Hope is not something luxury or unreachable. Hope is the moment we stop viewing the homeless as a nuisance and start seeing them as brothers. Elias does not need pity. He needs recognition. His horn, whether echoing in a dark tunnel or in the middle of Broadway, is a testament to a soul that never surrenders to the cold. Each subscribe and share not only helps the channel grow, but is an act of warming the lives of people like Elias, letting them know that the world still has people who are listening. Do not let our compassion be frozen by busyness, because ultimately, on a freezing winter night, the only thing that truly warms a human being is not heat pipes, but the love between one another. Goodbye, New York, and see you in our next empathetic journeys.
dogs up here in San Francisco look a